Today, we're going to talk about one of the biggest things I keep seeing in every one of my clients since the inauguration, and you might be noticing this too. We are experiencing a collective trauma response. Everyone is shut down, checked out, feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes people are reporting feeling a state of numbness. Numbness is your first stage of dissociation. So today, we're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about what's going on and what to do about it. So first and foremost, we're going to take a page from Resmaa Menakem, the author of My Grandmother's Hands. And his definition of trauma is it's too much, too soon, too fast. What does that mean in our current time? Let's talk about it. Too much. Too much refers to too much is coming at us, too much noise, too much information, anxiety, fear, internally, externally. We are surrounded by just too much. And we're all coming from a society in which we've already been marinating in this idea of just too much information. Our systems are already overloaded. We got to do this for the kids, and we got to make sure they get their grades and make sure they get into college and make sure they show up and make sure our bosses have just too much. We were already living that way, right? A lot of us were already in kind of this mild state of dissociation where we were shutting down our feelings because we had to get through every day, okay? So it's normal. Dissociating is normal. Checking out is normal. Everybody does it. In fact, it's so important for your nervous system to be able to manage overwhelm that we are born literally knowing how to dissociate. Infants know how to dissociate. They might go to sleep. They might arch their back to get away. That's kind of the early stage of our fight or flight system. So whenever too much is coming at us, it's overwhelming and our brain shuts it down. The next part is too soon. We have one brain, but a helpful framework to think about it is that it's broken up into three different parts. One part is logic brain, the other part is emotion brain, and the third part is animal brain. But the thing is that all three of these parts of our brain move at a different pace. They take in information, they process information, they move at different speeds is one way to think about it, right? So animal brain is going to pick up on the environment before your consciousness has even start to clock what is happening. And so it's going to react, it's going to determine that there's a threat. We're going to feel an emotion like anxiety or overwhelm or fear, and then we're going to shut down and dissociate. Notice there's a theme here, right? So when it's too soon, what that means is that our emotion brain, which is typically the slowest part of our brain to catch up to reality, hasn't quite caught up yet. And so we dissociate as a way of buying time for all three parts of our brain to catch up. And if we don't allow time for that emotion brain to catch up to the reality of what's happening, we shut down. Okay, the third part of this statement, too fast. So it's too much information, too fast, all of it just coming at us all the time, right? And that is exactly what the current administration is doing right now, is they're just flooding the zone with shit, as Steve Bannon likes to call it, right? They're doing it on purpose. They're intentionally flooding the zone so that we are all just, it's too much and we're shutting down. What does that mean? They are weaponizing our natural autonomic nervous system. They're weaponizing our ability to take in information, process it, think about it. No, they want you shut down because that's how they get away with some shenanigans. Spend time reminiscing about what you'd hoped for, what you thought was going to happen, what you believed. Sometimes people say that feelings don't matter. What's the point? Why bother? And minimize our own feelings. But the reality is, feelings, allowing yourself to feel your feelings, buys time for all the parts of your brain to make a decision, to catch up to reality. Buying time brings all three parts of our brain online so that we can make a decision about what is in our best interest, what can we do, what is in alignment with our values, what feels safe, what doesn't, that is rooted in calm, curious connection. Okay, so reminiscing is kind of the antidote to too much, too soon, too fast, and it allows your brain time to sync back up with all the parts of it. The next thing you can do is limit your exposure to all the noise. In fact, please, if you take nothing else from me except for this one thing, do not get your news from social media. Full stop. Do not get your news from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, some Instagram reel, whatever. Find sources that maybe are a little bit more muted in their response. So you're probably not going to watch Fox News, and you're probably not going to watch MSNBC. They're loud, right? They're dramatic. One thing that you can do is you can find sources that are a little bit more chill, right? So maybe the energy is lower. Some of what I really like is PBS, right? I'm getting the facts, but I'm not getting it in this sensationalized way. Or international news, maybe like BBC or something like that. So look for alternative news sources. A few that I really like personally are The Bulwark they're on Substack and they're on YouTube. I like Pod Save America. They're chill and they take a little bit of a deeper dive into what's really going on. Heather Cox Richardson. Love her work. It is fact-based. It is not sensationalized. What you're really looking for is kind of that low emotional threshold, because that's going to code in your nervous system as a little bit less of a threat so that you can stay present and take in information. The next thing we're going to do is time limit your exposure to all the noise. That means that you're going to say, I'm only going to watch, information about politics or whatever at a particular time of day, maybe for 30 minutes. Just read the headlines. I know a colleague of mine talked about how she can't handle like watching all the news right now. She gets the headlines from, I think she's subscribed to maybe New York Times or something. And so the headlines come into her email and she just scans those without doing a deep dive, which helps her kind of know what's going on without sinking into the weeds of it all, right? And so the other thing that I would say about, watching these other low emotion news sources is that they tend to go slower and do a deeper holistic dive into what's going on. And so they might spend more time kind of fleshing out an idea, processing it. They will have speakers who are highly qualified in their area of expertise to come in and really do a knowledgeable deep dive. We're getting away from sensational, boom, 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 right? And we're going slower, calmer, deeper, richer, not just what's ever sensationalized to make you get that click. Be aware the algorithm is using you. This is an attention economy. Your attention is what they're looking for so they can, market their wares and stuff to you, right? You are the product. Your attention is the product. Reclaim your attention. Don't let it sweep you up. You get to control what you put your eyeballs on. Your attention is very valuable and you get to choose. The next thing, spend time intentionally slowing down. You heard me talk about the power of the pause. We're going to use it here this time too. Take a deep breath, slow down, decide what you want to do. Reclaim. When you slow down, you are reclaiming your nervous system. The human animal has mirror neurons and things like that. That's what a lot of times feels like energy, right? Other people's energy. That's the science of mirror neurons. And so when you slow down and you kind of gather up your energy, focus it on yourself, take it back in, reclaim it, right? Because when we're going around, your kids want it, coworkers want it, your partner wants it, social media wants it. You get to choose where your eyeballs go, where your energy goes, okay? Decide who's worthy of it. Maybe your infant is worthy, more worthy, actually, of your attention than, TikTok or Facebook, right? Decide where you want to put your energy. I know for our practice, right? We're in my office. In our practice, we are choosing to run free groups for marginalized and scared populations. And so that is where I choose to plug in when I've allowed myself to slow down and decide. So, how can you practice that on a daily basis? You're going to decide, do I want to watch this right now? Do I want to hear this right now? Am I going to answer the text right now? Pick up the phone right now? You decide whether you're going to do it or not. Sometimes the answer is, yep, I'm going to do it because if I don't answer that call from my boss, I might lose my job. Even if it's your boss, even if the choice is I keep my job or I don't pay the rent, well, I would rather pay the rent than leave and risk finding a new job. That is still a decision that you get to make. One trick that I want everyone to do is before you watch the news, before you engage in political stuff, you're going to play your favorite song first. Play your favorite song. Have a little mini dance party. Have a little, hug. Set your nervous system and then decide, is now the time to watch the news? Is now the time to engage in that? Is there another way that I could check out for a little bit that might actually fill my cup? Here is my final thought for you. In the great words of Gandalf the Wise from Lord of the Rings, of course. I mean, I can't make a video without bringing in a nerd reference, right? I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf. And so do all who have lived to see such times. But that's not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are only 24 hours in a day. There are only so many minutes in every hour. It's only so many days in a week, weeks in a month, months in a year, and years of our life. Decide, what are you going to do with it? Don't let overwhelm that is intentionally being used make you act in a way that you will regret in the future. I think about 10 years from now, right? What do I want to look back on this period of my life and believe about myself and know about myself? Did I do everything I could and also made it through, knowing that I have a clear conscience? Can I look at my kids in the eye and say, yes, I did everything I could and I'm still standing. I did my best for you, I did my best for my clients, and I did my best for myself. Yeah, that's my goal. So pick your North Star and head toward it.